In today's news, Wheatley touts clean energy goals as ANEGADA project nears end. Admin building delays spark concern, possible rodent issues. Coast Guard, Navy team up for major Caribbean drug bust, and Restoration Initiative combats invasive species and honors local legacies. These and more stories when To It For News returns.
CCT is turning up the heat with the ultimate spin and win jackpot. Sign up for any postpaid plan, Freedom, GoFast LTE, or Fire Fiber Internet, or pay your postpaid bill on time for your chance to spin the wheel and win $5,000. Not a CCT customer? Make the switch to Life Unlimited. Already a postpaid customer? Just pay your bill on time. Prepaid customer? Upgrade to a postpaid plan today. What are you waiting for? Sign up, pay up, stay connected for a chance to spin to win. Call us at 444-4444 or visit a CCT store for details on the right plan for you or your eligibility to spin. Terms and conditions apply. CCT. Life Unlimited.
Start the year off with more. More speed, more downloading, more savings, and more Fire. CCT Fire Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected. Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second, super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVI, CCT Fire, and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to this edition of To It For News. It is Thursday, May 1st, 2025. I'm Jacques Wooding. Thank you so much for joining us. Morning traffic on Tortola was disrupted earlier today as authorities responded to an oil spill on the road between Brandywine Bay and Fish Bay. The affected section of the road was temporarily closed while cleanup operations were underway. The closure, which lasted until around 11 a.m., prompted delays for motorists in the area. Honorable RYMER, Minister for Communications and Works, visited the site while the cleanup operation was still in progress.
Good morning. We're here in Sophie Bay Hill, and we are just temporarily closed down the road in this area because of an oil spill. You will see here that we have the fire officer out on site, the fire team out on site, and we just want the public to know that when you're traversing this area, be careful, be mindful, because this is oil in the road. Though we have put some remedial sand,
yes.
This is to make the traversing a bit more safer.
Yes, so absorb most of the oil, so that even if the rain comes down, it don't cause no more slippage. We get a call of oil on the road from this morning at 8:20, and fire service came out with a team along with water and sewage, and we get some sand and put it on the road. Just for the traveling vehicles, whenever you see there's oil on the road, try your best to keep on the opposite side. And the sand is here to absorb the most of the oil. And whenever you see the oil, please, I'm begging you all, just try to avoid the oil because it's very slippery.
So basically, we are just out here informing the public of what is happening on the roadway, and we're asking the public, the motoring public, to drive with extreme caution
That's
as
correct.
we traverse this area. I know the police there on the other end directing traffic, making sure that there's one lane of traffic, but we just want the motoring public to be mindful of what is happening here and on this end of the island, Sophie Bay Hill.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No injuries or accidents were reported as a result of the incident. Traffic resumed smoothly following the road's reopening. Meanwhile, Premier and Minister for Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, has given the assurance that the Virgin Islands is very committed to transforming its electric power infrastructure, particularly in transitioning to sustainable sources. The Premier was addressing the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation (CARELEC) 2025 Symposium and Line Workers Rodeo, hosted by the territory for the first time last week. Premier Wheatley said the government was on the verge of transitioning the sister island of ANEGADA's power to 90% solar generated, with a solar farm project nearing completion.
My government has implemented some incentives to encourage residents and businesses to transition to solar power, with the option of selling excess power back to the grid to recoup the setup costs and eventually provide participating customers with some income. With the assistance of the H. Lavity Stock Community College, we have trained several persons in solar installation, repair, and maintenance. As these initiatives gain momentum, the Virgin Islands will experience a growing demand for skilled professionals, private entrepreneurs, and the BVI Electricity Corporation to deliver the necessary services. I anticipate that similar trends will emerge in other countries as well. This underscores the critical importance of the work being done by CARELEC and its members. We must continue cultivating top-tier talent, individuals who are well-informed, empowered, and committed to prioritizing safety above all else.
Meanwhile, on the regional stage, outcry is mounting over the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young, as political parties and civil society actors in Guyana challenge the statement from President Irfan Ali dismissing forceful drowning as the cause. Adriana went missing during a family outing at the Doubleday Hotel in Essequibo. Her body was found in the hotel pool the next day, despite prior searches. An autopsy by 3 international pathologists confirmed drowning, but did not specify whether it was accidental or deliberate. President Ali claimed the report ruled out forceful drowning, a statement Adriana's family and attorney strongly refute, saying that no such conclusion was shared with them. AFC leader Nigel Hughes criticized the president's remarks, noting that only a toxicology report can help determine if drowning occurred in the pool, especially by comparing lung contents to the pool water. He stressed that without the official pathology report, it's premature to draw such conclusions. Hughes warned that Ali's comments have eroded trust in the police and demanded transparency. At a joint press conference, several political groups and civil society figures called for an independent international investigation, the removal of the Commissioner of Police, and the creation of a civil oversight body to address police misconduct. And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Orange alert! Orange alert! Fire is spreading across the BVI. The fastest, most reliable, and affordable fiber internet service is here for you. Look out for fire in these new locations: Slaney, Duff Bottom, Manual Reef, Seacoast Bay, Albion, Hannah's, Palestina, Pleasant Valley, and Havers. Fiber is in your area. Call 444-4444 or visit a CCT store to find out more and bring it home. More locations coming soon.
Just give me my service.
Yeah.
Just give me my service.
Just give me my service.
Make the switch to CCT and get connected today. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Visit any CCT store or call us at 444-4444. CCT, Life Unlimited. Start the year off with more. More speed, more downloading, more savings, and more fire. CCT Fire Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected.
Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second.
Super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVI, CCT Fire, and pay monthly no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Questions are being asked on whether rats are having a field day at the Ralph T. O'Neill Administration Building in Roadtown. The administration building was damaged several years ago by Hurricane Irma, and despite the works being done to repair it, the building remains yet to be completed. During the recent Alliance radio show, a caller expressed concern about the time it is taking to fix the building. In response, 6th District Representative and Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Myron Walwyn, said answers are not forthcoming from the government on this building.
There's so many years now, about nearly 4 years or more, the government been working on the administration, been working on an administration complex. Can the minister, Mr. Myron, can you all give any say anything about it? Because if the month a year they work and they're gonna build two brand new building and finish. And up and now they can't finish that building. What's going on with it? With that building over there?
You care to respond?
Caller, I understand your concern, and I have to say to you, your guess is as good as mine. Because whenever you ask a question about that building, you get a different deadline. I know after the hurricane, there was about $11 or $12 million that came from insurance. It seemed as if something done on the outside of the building, but on the inside, absolutely nothing has happened. I understand that the rats are having a field day in the basement. The mole has taken over the basement again. So I really can't say where we are, but certainly when we have the new sitting of the House, we can pose a question to ask about what is happening there so that you can get your answer. But every time we ask a question, all we get are new deadlines, and basically nothing is happening. I don't see any work happening outside. I don't know if anybody's inside working.
I don't know yet.
I doubt it seriously. But we are renting property elsewhere to tune of some
$11 million.
$11 million, based on what the member is saying, and we have a building there that's nothing is happening with.
In other news, there is a call for the Minister of Education, Youth Affairs and Sports, Honorable Sherry DeCastro, to fix the facilities at the E. Walwyn Bruley softball field, which were damaged by Hurricane Irma. The call comes from host of Speak Out BVI, KISHMA PENN. During the program on Tuesday evening, PENN said that the softball field is an integral part of BVI's culture and recognized the sport's contributions to the development of many players in the territory. PENN stated that when she was a player in the early 2000s, there were facilities at the field to complement the sport. But these are now gone due to the hurricanes of 2017. And to date, nothing is being done to have them replaced.
To play again, I was 19, 20 years old. So you talking about 1920 would have been 2003, 2002, when I would have been playing softball around that time. And in 2003, 2002, we had a backstop. For those who don't know what a backstop is, let me give you a quick education. That's the steel cage that's behind the batter's box, so that if you pop up the ball or you have a fly ball, the ball don't end up in the audience and knocking out the audience. That's the big, tall steel cage right behind the batter's box. That's what that is. That's called a backstop. So we had a backstop, we had a fence, we had lights, we had a proper border going all the way around the softball field. We had a gate. We had 2 functioning dugouts with functioning bathrooms. We had 2 different sets of bleachers, one on the side by the Electricity Corporation, the other one sitting on the side by the gut. Covered bleachers, by the way, not just bleachers, but covered bleachers when rain was falling. We had shelter at the softball field on the other side, and the next access by on the Longbush side, you had vendors as well as Cinti husband would be on the outside on the high school side, and we had a field. We had a field that met international standards. We had a field where you could hold easy international meets, and we had a softball field that we could have been proud of. We had a softball field that had looked proper. And as long as I know myself, the BVI has been producing championship softball teams.
PENN said softball teams from the BVI have been traveling around the region representing the BVI and winning matches. But unfortunately, PENN said the support for softball seems to be dwindling as the crowd to last Friday's match was very small compared to years ago.
I sit on a wall that broke since IRMA watching the game. When the game started to get sweet, KISHMA come down off the wall, and then KISHMA is now inside the softball field. I ain't spend the money to get in there yet. And if I wasn't a good citizen, I'd walk, go over by the bleachers and sit down like a pay my money to get inside there. We have a softball field where I'm sure them can't even maximize them revenue because them can't even contain the people them who it is coming on any end because them ain't on a wall. And I bring this up to say the little bit of fixing that it need so it could look pristine again. While a lot of people might say, oh, it got much more important things than softball. No, spend a little $200,000, $250,000 to get it back to top level. You know why? It's in the middle of town. And it's an eyesore to be looking at in the middle of town. The field don't look good. The field could be making money. The field could be doing so much more than what is it doing now. Minister Education, Culture, softball is sports, softball is culture. Let me two things under your ministry. And I ain't picking on you, but the same way you're making improvements in education, Lord Jesus, fix a softball field.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Coast Guard wrapped up Fleet Week for Fort Lauderdale with the offload of 3,750 pounds of cocaine and marijuana, valued at approximately $12.3 million at Port Everglades on Wednesday. The drugs were seized in two separate operations in the Caribbean Sea by the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul and its embarked Navy helicopter, in collaboration with Coast Guard law enforcement teams. The early success of our maiden deployment highlights the crew's readiness and skill, said Commander Stephen Fress of the Minneapolis-St. Paul. Commander Walter Krollman of the cutter Tampa emphasized the importance of joint operations. Drug interdictions at sea involve close coordination between agencies. Detection is led by the Joint Interagency Task Force in South Key West, while the Coast Guard takes over enforcement and apprehension. The operations fall under the jurisdiction of the 7th Coast Guard District, headquartered in Miami. And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Start the year off with more. More speed, more downloading, more savings, and more fire. CCT Fire Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected.
Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second.
Super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVI, CCT Fire, and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Honorable Julian Fraser, Deputy Premier and Minister for Environment, delivered his closing remarks as outgoing chair of the OECS Council of Ministers on Environmental Sustainability at their 12th regular meeting in Antigua and Barbuda. He thanked the host country, incoming chair Sir Malwyn Joseph, fellow ministers, the regional partners, as well for their collaboration and support. He also praised OECS Director General Dr. Didicus Jules and Environmental Division Head Mr. Chamberlain Emmanuel for their dedication. Reflecting on his term, Fraser highlighted the region's ongoing environmental challenges, especially in the wake of Hurricane Beryl in 2024 and the devastation it caused in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. He emphasized the urgent need for climate resilience, noting the increasing threat of severe weather events. He also acknowledged the foundation laid by Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, who previously held the OECS chairmanship, and reiterated support for the OECS Roadmap to 2030, an initiative focused on sustainable development and environmental action. This year's theme, Staying the Course in Perilous Times, reinforces the region's commitment to resilience and sustainability amid growing environmental and economic pressures. Fraser closed by pledging full support to Sir Malwyn Joseph and wishing the Council continued success. Also in the realm of environmental conservation, the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change has successfully planted more than 120 sea grape trees as part of its Long Bay Restoration Project, exceeding its original goal and setting the stage for expanded community involvement and environmental education. Launched in June 2024 during Environment Month, the tree planting initiative is part of Operation Restoration, a plan to revive Long Bay's coastal ecosystem following years of damage and invasive species dominance.
So we started work in 2022 to develop a beach management plan for Long Bay to really try to address a myriad of issues that were arising at that beach so that we could make sure that the user quality and the environment was, the user experience, and the environment was maintained at that beach. And we saw restoration of the environment as a critical part of that plan. We started to implement the plan as early as 2023 with different phases, but the work to really start Operation Restoration was in 2024. And that includes both the replanting of our target of 100 sea grape trees along the beach, as well as the replanting of a number of different native species within the beach dune, which is a very important part of the beach behind the area that we would typically go and recreate where we consider the beachfront. So the sea grape tree planting initiative in particular was launched in June of 2024 as a part of our Environment Month celebrations. We had a lovely ceremony on the beach with our premier and who was a minister at the time, the district representatives from Unite BVI, students from the Wheatley and Francis Letton Primary School, and really, supporters from the community. And at that time, we launched the initiative with the planting of 20 sea grape trees, and throughout various weeks over the course of about 4 weeks in 2025, starting on March 15th. And running through April 6th, we planted the balance of 65 sea grape trees out along the beachfront. And in the course of 2024, we also planted 20-odd sea grape trees within the dune itself. So all in all, we've actually exceeded our target now of planting 100 sea grape trees, and we've planted around about 120-odd sea grape trees. So we're very happy with the success that we've had so far and the reaction that we've gotten from the community.
The initiative, backed by Unite BVI and supported by the H. Laverty Stouts Community College Center for Applied Marine Studies, also includes the replanting of over 10 native tree species in the dune system behind the beachfront.
No, so sea grapes are the only species that we've planted along the foreshore. So the foreshore is that area between the vegetation line and the ocean where we go and swim. But in addition to sea grape trees, we've planted, gosh, it must be over 10 different species of native trees within the beach dune. So native trees meaning trees that are sort of, normally, naturally, historically found within the Virgin Islands, and in particular in that particular beach environment. So what had happened was when those trees were destroyed in Hurricane Irma, Maria, and like I said, some events leading, or even before those hurricanes, we had a real takeover of the beach dune by various invasive species. So invasive species are those that do not belong to a particular geographic area.
Such as?
So in the case of Long Bay, we had species like the neem tree. That's the common name for it, which on its own, and every species inherently has good value and good properties and so forth. It's a matter of where the species exists and whether or not it belongs to that particular place and has a positive role in that particular place. So the neem tree is actually originally from the subcontinent, the Indian subcontinent, the Asian region, and in that area plays a very positive role in the environments where it's naturally found. But in the beach environment, not so much so. So one of the things that invasives do is they actually outgrow and outcompete other species. So it didn't allow for those native species that have, always been in that environment and have specific ecological roles in that environment, including supporting the various biodiversity that exists in that beach to continue to exist.
The project took a creative step further by naming planted trees after deceased community members who contributed significantly to Virgin Islands heritage, especially from the 7th and 8th districts. Each tree will eventually include a permanent nameplate with a QR code linking to biographies and historical context, forming what PENN called a living museum on the beach.
Well, the ministry, we thought it would be really fitting to fully engage the community in this initiative by honoring the legacy of persons from the community who have passed on, who really contributed to the development of our community. And, we came from a tradition of boat building, farming, fishing, before the Virgin Islands transitioned from a subsistence economy into the service-based tourism and financial services economy that it is today. And, we had craftspersons who really made life work and what it was back in those days. So we wanted to honor and remember that legacy and those important contributions. So we decided it would be very fitting to name the trees in honor of these persons so that these trees have an identity and, people can really feel a sense of ownership over the initiative. And the idea is that, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, hopefully 50 years and more from now, generations to come can come and sit and shade under those trees. And we'll have a QR code or some form of linkage that people can go onto our website and read about these significant figures. Some people have talked about it being a living museum because we really don't we don't capture and document to begin with, much less celebrate these sort of unspoken heroes. So we thought that this was a wonderful opportunity to do that. The criteria was that persons, first of all, are passed on. These are persons who are all deceased. Persons from the 7th and the 8th communities, which, that beach is really the social and cultural hub for those communities. It has always been. Well, of course, it's a very popular beach for the entire population, but they had to be from the 7th and 8th and Virgin Islanders, either by birth or by ancestral descent. So those were basically the criteria. Of course, in addition to making some significant contribution.
The initiative has inspired nearby districts to begin their own restoration conversations, with future efforts possibly expanding to Brewers Bay, Cane Garden Bay, and Savannah's Bay. The ministry is now focusing on long-term maintenance, including community watering, invasive species removal, and public education. Trails and signage will be installed to turn the dune system into an outdoor classroom of sorts for visitors and school groups. And viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com, on our WhatsApp channel, and be sure to follow us on Facebook at 284media, as well as 284BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. I'm Jacques Wooding, and I'm hoping you have a safe and enjoyable evening. Goodbye.